Okay, hello everybody. My name is Mariano, and I'm back again here with another tier list ranking video for NBA power forwards. So this is the fourth part of our 5-part series of ranking each position in order. And most of the time, it's usually starting for that position, whether it be power forward, point guard, shooting guard, etc. But this one kind of seems to have a couple people that play on the same team, and that's okay. I'm gonna do it like that. I'm going to kind of rank it. Again, I'm going to be a little bit more harsh with the rankings. I don't want too many people in elite, and I probably need more in like or okay. So yeah, let's get into it today. Alrighty, let's start with Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson, he's solid. I like him. He's got good size. He's just a solid player. There's not a lot that I love about him, and there's not a lot that I don't like about him, which is kind of why he's in that like solid kind of average player. And I think he has the potential to be a little bit better moving forward, but I don't think he's anywhere near that borderline all-star tier yet. Maybe with DeJounte Murray being gone, maybe he's going to have some opportunity to open up that floor for him and actually become that player that we think he could be. Patrick Williams, okay. I haven't seen too much of him to put him in that solid tier. He's got good defense, puts up maybe like 9 points a night, maybe a little bit less, but I think he's okay. I'd love to see more out of him. Maybe he stops being a little bit injured and plays a little bit more. I know it's not his problem. That's not his fault, right? But I would like to see a little bit more of him before I can kind of gauge where I feel about him. Jared Vanderbilt. Again, okay. I think he's a phenomenal defender, but that's as much as it is for him, in my opinion. I like what I see from him every once in a while, but I'm not convinced just yet that he's kind of in that solid tier with Keldon Johnson. Lauri Markkanen, again, another okay player. Just nothing that I love about him. He had a time where I was like, oh wow, he could kind of be maybe that borderline all-star tier. I think he averaged like 18 points when he's with the Bulls, and he had that potential to be, but he's just kind of mid. He just really is mid. There's not too much more to say about him. He's an okay player. I wouldn't mind him on my team, but I'm not in love with him. John Collins. Now this guy, I'm a little bit high on him. I don't know if I want to say he's a borderline all-star. I feel like that's maybe pushing it a little bit. He might be at the highest solid tier you could probably put him. No, you know what? No. I think I like him as a borderline all-star. I think he's a good defender. He's a good scorer. A good lob threat. He can kind of shoot the ball a little bit. A lot of it, though, I feel like it might be a little bit of success due to Trae Young being such a great playmaker. But I think what I see from him is what I think you're probably going to get out of him for the rest of his career. Kind of in that middle tier, kind of maybe a borderline all-star. Maybe if his team has a lot of success and he has a decent year, a little bit better of a year, maybe puts up that 21, 22 range and maybe like 7 or 8. I think he could be an all-star, so that's why I'm going to put him at that borderline all-star. He may be subject to move down a little bit as I go through my list, but I think that's a good place to put him because I think he is a step above someone like Keldon Johnson. Marvin Bagley. For now, I didn't like what he did his first couple years. I think that move to Detroit is really going to help him, but I'm not convinced with him yet, and I think he's a step below these three guys, and I'm not saying a lot. He puts up the points, but he lacks in a lot of other places that I don't appreciate. And he has such a high draft pick that I expected more out of him, and he just keeps getting injured and not being able to stay on the floor. So I think that kind of puts him in that category. O'Shea Brissett. Again, another player. A lot of people probably were like, who? But he's okay. Nothing to cry home about. It is what it is. Zion is a tricky one to rate. If he is completely healthy and, nothing is, and he's in his correct weight, I think he's a superstar. Then if he is not healthy, he's not even on this list, right? Because he's not playing. And he's played like 90 games in 3 seasons. I think that says a lot. But for now, I don't want to put him in that superstar level. I think I'm going to put him in an all-star because I think when he's on the court and when he's healthy, he's definitely an all-star and maybe even a superstar. I just would love to see more of him on the court. Karl Anthony Towns. It's weird seeing him on the power forward list. I know that Rudy Gobert's place is probably better as a center as opposed to the power forward, so that's kind of why Cat gets moved down. But I think he'll be elite at that position. He's going to score the ball as well as anybody. He's going to shoot the ball as well as anybody. He's, over time, gotten better as a defender, which is why I'm kind of growing to like him a little bit more. At first, it was just like, yeah, he can score, he can shoot. Phenomenal, especially for his size. Probably the best shooter of all time. But can he play defense? But am I in love with him and how he plays? Not so much. Recently, I've been kind of like, okay, maybe. Draymond Green. I think his days as an all-star. No, I mean he was an all-star last year, right? Just because he didn't attend it doesn't mean he wasn't an all-star. He's someone that thrives off of his team's success, which is why I put him there. I personally don't think. So I think when you look at his stats, he doesn't play like an all-star, but what he does on and off the court with his hustle, things that don't get documented by stats and numbers, puts him in that all-star tier. I think without him, his team isn't as good, and I think he plays a huge role for his team, and that's kind of why he deserves that all-star nod. Al Horford, solid. I don't think I can put him in that borderline all-star, but I think what he does and how he played in the playoffs, he really shined and deserves him at that solid tier. I think he is a little bit ahead of Keldon Johnson for sure. He's just a very consistent guy, glue guy on your team. You'd love to have him. And he's a Florida guy. Christian Wood. If we're talking about last year, his team stunk, but he kind of did put up borderline all-star numbers. Do I think he can do that again on the Mavs? I'm not sure, but I think he's going to help take off some of that load for Luka, and Luka's going to set him up a bit, and I think maybe that team is going to have success, seeing how they'll both play together, and I think that might get him a possible all-star nod, not necessarily a spot on the all-star, but I think he could be in that borderline all-star this year. I think that we could see him kind of take that next step and progress, having a playmaker next to him. Giannis, elite. He's the best power forward in the league. He's one of the best power forwards of all time. He gives you 30 a night, not scoring very efficiently. Imagine if he could, right? And at a high volume. It's just, he is a once-in-a-lifetime generational player, and I think he is the best player in the NBA right now, which is why he's on the top of that at least too. Paolo Banchero, or Banchero. So this is just a projection, right? And I'm going to project all four of these guys that are incoming rookies. Paolo, I think, will probably be the best out of these four for that position. I'm going to put him as a solid power forward in the league. And this is just based off projection and what I've seen out of him, right? So I think he could be solid. Keegan Murray is also going to join him in that solid. I think both of them are pretty good players. In college, what they've been doing in the summer, in the in the summer league, I think you saw a lot of good things about them, a lot of things that they do well. Keegan Murray is a phenomenal shooter. I think Paolo has the potential to be a superstar one day in this league. He has all the tangibles and intangibles. So I think that putting him in solid, while it is high of a projection, I think it's a good place to put him. Nikola Jovic, I think, will be okay along with Jabari Smith. I think they both have a lot of potential. Nikola Jovic is a special player. I've seen what he did overseas. He's kind of that Jokic, kind of that, you kind of see in a lot of European players, right? They know how to pass. They know how to play. It's just we'll have to see how his transition is into the NBA because a lot of those guys don't transition that well. But he has the potential to be really good. And Jabari Smith is a monster. I think a lot of his stock fell for me during the summer league and during the summer after he got drafted. So I think it's one of those things we'll see. He did have that potential to be that number one pick. He didn't project that high, and he didn't go number one. But I think that he is going to be okay at the bare minimum, right? And I think his ceiling is very high. Ben Simmons, again, kind of in the same situation as Zion. If he's healthy and on the court, an all-star. The lowest I feel like he could be if he's healthy on the court is a borderline all-star. It's going to be interesting to see him on the court with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. I think he'd be a good fit because he's not going to be expected to score, right? He probably will score, but he's not going to be expected to score, and he's going to make those plays and play that phenomenal defense that we know he can. I just hope that he can get back on the court. I miss kind of seeing him play. He's kind of a freak of nature out there, 6'11" as a point guard. Or I guess in this situation, probably a power or a point forward more than a power forward or a point guard. But nevertheless, I think he's one of those talents that like don't come around very often. So I kind of like him in that All-Star tier if he's healthy and mentally stable. Tobias Harris, at this point in his career, solid. I know he can score the ball. I'm not in love with Tobias Harris. There was one point where I was like, oh, when he was with the Clippers, I was like, oh, he has potential to, kind of stay being an all-star or in that range. And he's just dropped off since then. And I know that it's a product of his team and who he plays for. And I think he's solid. All around solid. I think I'd like him on my team. I don't love him. But yeah. Scotty Barnes. I think this year he's going to be an all-star. Believe it or not, I think he is great. Honestly, he was my favorite rookie this year. I loved watching him. I love his defense. There's a lot he does so well on the court. And for that reason, I'm going to have him as an all-star. I'm projecting him to be an all-star this year. And I think moving forward, he's going to continue to be an all-star and possibly even hit that superstar range later on in his career. Kind of like a Kawhi Leonard type beat, playing both sides, right? Evan Mobley, again, another guy that I think will be an all-star this year. I think he was great, phenomenal on the Cavs team. Had an argument over Scotty Barnes to be Rookie of the Year. I kind of thought he was going to win it. I'm not upset about Scotty Barnes winning that position, but or winning that award. But I see a lot of good things and good potential in Evan Mobley, and he could be one of those generational talents on the defensive side of the ball moving forward. And that's kind of why I like him. He plays phenomenal defense. He's got good length. I think moving forward, he's going to be an all-star. Aaron Gordon, at this point, solid. Plays good defense. Shoot the ball a little bit, play a little bit of offense. He's just solid. Jay Crowder, okay. He has some nights where I'm like, damn, he's making literally every three possible, right? And there's other nights where I'm like, where the hell is he on the court? Like, he's nowhere to be found. He's kind of a hard rank for me because I do like him, and I'd like to see him on my team. Well, he was on my team on the Heat in previous years, but I think he's just okay. Julius Randle's, at this point, and he fell off hard from his All-Star season. I think he's solid. A lot of it has to do with his team. I don't love Julius Randle. Maybe putting him in borderline All-Star seems more realistic, but I just don't love him, man. Like, he fell off hard, and he's back to kind of like, he just doesn't do it for me. There's just something that he doesn't do. Anthony Davis, elite. I mean, what else can I say? If he's healthy, he's elite. If he's healthy, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. Both sides of the ball, he's a top 10 player. Again, another generational talent. I just wish he could stay healthy. It seems like if you throw a piece of paper on him, he's gonna be hurt, right? And it upsets me because I really like watching him play, but it is what it is. Kyle Kuzma, solid. I think it took a nice jump this season. I think next season he's gonna kind of be in that same. I think he's kind of gonna be a player that's always gonna play the same. He's gonna put up 14, 15 points. He'll have his nights where he scores 30, but he's nothing flashy, nothing crazy. I think he's just solid. Darius Bazley, another player I'm going to put in for now. Just haven't seen enough of him that I like to put him over some of the guys above him. Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant is an interesting one because I think if you put him on a better team and he puts up the same stats he was putting up in Detroit, he's a borderline all-star, which is why him switching teams and being on the Trailblazers, for me, is going to put him in the borderline all-star. I think he's going to play really well alongside, Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, and I think he'll finally take that next step and be in the talks to be an all-star if his team has a lot of success. And so that's why I'm kind of projecting him to be a borderline all-star. PJ Washington. He's solid. He's good. He's a good three-point shooter. Okay defense. I like him. He's solid. I think he is a step above some of these guys. So yeah. Jaren Jackson Jr. I think this year he is going to be an all-star. Defensively, great. He led the league in blocks. Even when John Morant wasn't on the court, he was kind of that leader, and I think he's a great player. I think he's an all-star moving forward. Nicholas Batum, okay. Probably towards the top of okay. I like Nicholas Batum. I have no issues with them. I just feel like he's one of those guys who's just going to give you 10 points and not play good defense. Specifically a 3-and-D player, and he's a good 3-and-D player, but I don't love him. And then Kevin Love. You know, if you would have asked me a couple years ago, I would have put him in or okay. Like, he should be heading out of the league. Last year, he had a solid year. He had potential to be that sixth man of the year, playing that role. And I think he had a lot, like, he surprised a lot of people this year. And I think that's due to the team chemistry and a better team makeup moving forward. So, yeah, I like him there. I had no one in a superstar tier. What does that say? Okay, so if that's the case, I'm going to move Cat down one, which is hard to do. Keep these two at the top because I do think they are a step above Cat whenever they are healthy. That means I have to move someone up, and that's hard because who here is in the superstar league? I don't see any of these guys be a superstar. The closest one that would be a superstar would be Zion, but he can't stay healthy, and I can't guarantee anything. I'm going to leave it like that. I don't like it, but the power forward's a really wonky position. You have these two at the top, these three at the top, really, and then it kind of all goes down from there due to just how the position is. I know I'm going to probably get a lot of flack for putting Julian Randle in solid. That's just my opinion. I don't love him. Is there anyone I can move down? I could probably move down Nicholas Batum to don't love Lauri Markkanen, but he's okay. He's not Is there anyone here I can move down? I think, for me, PJ Washington you can move down. And Aaron Gordon you can kind of move down to okay. Good guys, solid guys, but I think they're probably a step below some of these guys, in my opinion. And, you know, with that being said, I'm going to put all the rookies together. No, you know what? It's my list. I'm going to project them high. You know, I have high hopes for them, so I'm hoping that actually stays true. Okay. Is there anyone I feel I can move down here as an all-star? No. I think that does it for me today. Guys, this is kind of the hardest list I've had to make. I think I was kind of solidified with my top three, and then beyond that, it was kind of hard to rank them. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, concerns, leave a like, comment, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.